Hi, I'm Jeff Flatto with another episode of That's the Way the Cookie Crumbles. We're here at Southmouth Deli with the Runnels, the owners of this fine establishment, and we're excited to be here. Number one, it's a fabulous establishment. Number two, we're going to eat after we get through, so we're looking forward to that. We've never really met. We met once.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah, at a little meeting, but you and I have never met. We talked on the phone.
No.
But this just kind of happened, and that's the best way for our show is to just kind of generic, I guess is the word, come about. So tell me, you guys, how did you end up here in Hattiesburg at this establishment together?
So we met, 27 years ago?
Sure. At a psychiatric hospital.
Really? That's
my favorite story, is to tell everybody, oh yeah, I met my husband at a psych hospital.
So
they're like, oh.
Were you both on the same side of the psychiatric hospital, or were you?
We both
worked there.
Okay, all right. So. We want to clear that up.
I don't know. I like to keep.
Yeah.
And then
we may be headed there, though.
Well, spend a minute with me alone, and you might be going,
maybe.
Yeah.
I looked at that shirt, and I was kind of wondering.
Exactly. So yeah. So I mean, I came down here after a stint at University of Washington, and I enrolled in Southern Miss, and it also helped that my family retired and worked their way back down here, and so through those years and that time, working at various restaurants and all that, I came across this young lady. And
so y'all met at Southern, at USM?
She had finished Southern. I was still in Southern, but I got my job at the psych hospital where she was working, and then I think I asked her to marry me 2 weeks later, and we've been together for 27 years.
Yeah.
That's impressive. So he was quick to.
Oh, and I was on the game. I had that.
Did you say yes right away?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I knew the first time I met him that we were.
So a happy marriage, even in the restaurant.
Oh yes.
So
yes.
You work together every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
So that's something right there. I mean, that's tough. But congratulations on that.
Thank you. Well, after we got married, though, and I got into the corporate side of business, working at a local establishment.
In the food?
In the food.
Yeah.
In the food. So I ended up starting working for Robert St. John at Purple Parrot.
Yeah.
Worked there for 4 or 5 years, and then jumped into a corporate setting with O'Charlie's.
Yeah.
During that time, Mary didn't work. We homeschooled our children, and so this period of time that we've been together has been great, because you just kind of, when you're homeschooling your kids, you change your schedule. So here we are, restaurants. I'm working 6 days a week, but I got to see my kids like I was working a 9-to-5 job. So it worked out.
Yeah.
You know.
That's interesting. So you stayed home and raised.
I stayed home.
Did they homeschool throughout the
whole way through?
Really?
Until when our youngest one went into high school, I started working part-time at a daycare.
Yeah.
And I also started painting for a friend locally, who her and her husband worked together in their business, and I would come home every day and I'd say, we are never going to work together, we are never going to own a business, it is too much hard work.
Never say never.
Never say never. Because then this comes.
Right.
And so this was originally put together by Ron Savell from Mug Shots and Josh Rogers from Patio 44, and I've known them for a while. And so as I'm the opening general manager for Panera Bread, they're calling me up going, hey, we're starting this deli. And I was like, fantastic. And then later on, they came back and say, anybody wants to buy a deli? And that's where the epiphany for me came. I now have a chance to take that next level, because all these years of working was to get myself to where I have my own place.
Yeah. So you went from St. John, and then you went to, what was next? O'Charlie's.
And then,
when you were at O'Charlie's, was Dave Cullip there?
Oh, yes.
Yep. So Dave and I go back a long way. So O'Charlie's, then
and then
Panera, or
nope,
no, was it Chili's?
I actually opened a couple O'Charlie's in the Jacksonville market, and then this was a few years after the Twin Towers went down and our restaurant recession kind of took place, and so it was a tough battle there. I ended up leaving them, and I went with Consolidated Restaurant Operations, which owns El Chico,
Okay, yeah.
which is a 50-plus year Tex-Mex
Yeah.
restaurant. And I went to Little Rock, Arkansas, dragged this one with me, and did that for a little while. And it was, I need to get back. And so here comes Chili's. So I was in both Chili's here, ended up being the general manager of the Chili's Pedal. And
Really?
at a point, I realized my oldest was at Southern. I needed to do something different. I kind of reached my ceiling of what I was learning, and so I tried a stint with USM, and I really didn't like that. And then the Panera Bread came
In the
along.
food business?
In the food business.
Yeah.
Yes. So Panera Bread came along, and got to open that, and that was a great learning
So
experience.
you were in on the opening of that?
I
So,
was
yeah.
on from
You opened the
everything.
Chili's too, or just the one Pedal?
No, the one Chili's Pedal was already here.
Yeah,
But
okay.
they realized that I had family and I was kind of from Pedal,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Yeah, come on, we'll move you from Little Rock." So
Yeah.
that's how I was able to
I
get
got
down
you.
here. So I got back with family, and
So you were working at Chili's in Little Rock, and you
Yep.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Because
So you've got a long history of restaurant
Yes.
business under your belt
Oh, yes.
with different chains and
Different
which, you know,
chains.
chain restaurant some people don't like, but the training and the focus on, you know, success is
The
good.
success is great.
I mean, if you
So-
can take that and use it for your own, then
and
all the better.
that's
yeah.
kind of where we got here,
Yeah.
because it was the culmination now of Panera Bread
Yeah.
that opened me up for this.
I got you.
And so now I got to see a side of the operations that you kind of know, but then when you get to do them, and then now you're here, you've got your own place. I'm taking 25 years of managing restaurants and taking all the best things, and I've tried to put them into making this successful.
Yeah.
And so 6 years this restaurant has been here.
So 6 years.
6
you
years.
Guys,
I've
you guys
had it. I've
6
had
years?
it we've had it for almost 5 years.
5, okay.
4.5, maybe 4.5.
So you came right after they opened.
Yeah,
basically.
they opened it. They had it for a year, and then I came in and kind of
Was
took
the
it
business
over.
good when you got it, or did you have to?
Like every business, it
Yeah.
fluctuates with the season. So
Yeah.
I got it right in the spring, and then here comes summer, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
all right, Southern Miss is gone, but we survived it. It was
Yeah.
good.
So would you say that the city of Hattiesburg and the surrounding area needs USM? Southern Miss?
We wholeheartedly need to have USM carry, because that's half of our employment
And
staff.
William Carey, yeah, and,
Yeah.
and the junior college.
And the junior colleges.
It's a big industry here.
It's the best thing that you can have, in that you've got kids that they're intelligent, they're outgoing for the most part.
Yeah.
They know this is not their career, and you take a child like that, teach them how to make money, and then they make an amazing amount of money and work fewer hours while they're going to school. You got some great operations going on.
So when I came up, I saw the help wanted signs, and so this is July 20, is it the 29th, 2021?
Mm-hmm.
And so we've gone through COVID, and I'm doing this for posterity.
Posterity.
In case somebody looks at this years from now, but we're coming out of COVID, but there's still some issues, and maybe there's some other things going on. So employment's been tough. So tell us a little bit about your experience early in COVID and now, and what do you see on the horizon, or if you can see, what you think is going to happen.
Well, that's kind of like the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
When it all took place, it was such a quick shut everything down. They sent all the kids home. You didn't know what the real issue was. And now, as we're trying to reopen and try to put our lives back together, everyone in town is struggling with just trying to find that core of people. I mean, USM shuts down, and Bob, my grill cook, is in Shibuda, Mississippi at mom and dad's house studying online with no job. We don't, so they're not here.
Yeah.
And so until we get Southern Miss back in the fall, and William Carey in the fall, you don't know. I'm always one who's optimistic. I always look for that next event that next step that I can take, and I'm crossing my fingers that when USM gets back in, that we will find the kids that we need and go. So
so how was business during COVID for you? Did you shut down any at all?
We shut down. I think
How
we
long
shut
was
down
it?
6 weeks.
I think it was 6 weeks.
About 6
and
weeks.
During that time, though, our daughter had come home, and the three of us kind of ran the restaurant and did pop-ups.
And so a lot of
Probably about,
neighborhoods,
3 or 4
Yeah.
weeks.
we would do
Yeah.
a pop-up for like Bellgrass, and
Yeah.
they would call and we would make stuff, and at least we were bringing some money in.
Yeah.
But it was wow. I mean,
Was it a
but you-
struggle financially for you? I mean,
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah, it was definitely a
Absolutely.
struggle. We were having to buy from our vendors cash. And the nice thing, though, was our landlord was like, pay me when you can, I understand.
yeah.
And
So, I mean,
that was our saving grace.
There was a kind of a community effort in this. I mean, I know there's some horror stories with others, but I was kind of blessed in that, people were understanding. It wasn't just us, it was everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you had a good landlord that helped, so it
Yes.
could be
Yeah.
bad for you.
Yes.
If it wasn't, if they were strapped, they'd push you,
Oh.
and then it would,
Right.
and that's kind of the domino effect that a lot of people saw
that's right.
with that.
Exactly.
That's right.
This guy's not doing so well. So I think if you were new and teetering on the brink, that it was a bad time.
yeah, it was
I mean, obviously it had to be.
Yeah.
Even if you were not teetering on the brink, you may be now,
Right.
or you may not have made it.
Well,
so that's
and
the
I know
reality of
there's
it.
several restaurants that are closing now after all that we've gone through, and now they're having to close the doors.
Yeah.
And you would think, oh, we made it to the other side, but
Yeah.
it's not over yet. So.
Well, looks like now the glitch is that you can't get the help, that you can
Right.
do the
That's
business,
right.
but you
That's
can't get
the
the
glitch.
help.
Can't get the
that
help.
you
So
You
need.
got the customers, you don't have the employees.
Yeah. And some of that has to do with people getting money from the government that, it's easy money and why you want to help people, but at the same time, you want a strong business community where people can come and make a living when
Correct.
times get back to
Correct.
normal, and because there's only so much money that can be given out.
Right, and then
At some
so
point.
to kind of put all that in perspective, now you have struggling businesses. Let's say we get those kids back in here, can we still make the money that we need to give them a chance
Yeah.
to live their lives, and for us to still just simply let's just
Have
pay
your
our
costs
bills.
risen? So have your
Oh,
costs?
absolutely.
So food
Everything's-
costs?
Food costs is up.
Labor?
Labor's up.
Have you had to give raises to keep people?
The ones that I got back, I'd already kind of
Yeah.
put them in a good
Yeah.
spot. What's convenient for us is that we are a counter service, a quick service kind of
Yeah.
operation. So I'm not running a dining room with 12 or 15 servers,
Yeah.
bus boys, and all of that. I was still able to operate with the 5 or 6 kids that I had, and it was interesting. But that's when we were doing curbside.
Yeah.
So a lot of what we were doing was just getting them to
Answer
pull
the
up.
phone, running back and forth.
But
And
you
then send-
adjusted.
We did. You had
to.
to. You had
You
to.
did the pop-ups. You did the curbside. You ran it with your family.
We-
I mean, it was constant. It was almost like every week. What are we doing this week?
Yeah.
What are we going to do next week?
Right. Yeah.
And
Because
we
it
had
was
started
changing.
in that third-party process before this.
Yeah.
Now it exploded. We were able to, my point of sale system is not the greatest in the world, but all of a sudden there were avenues opening up for like online ordering
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Did
So
you
we were
do
able
waiter and that type of thing before?
We
to-
did.
we did the waiter.
Toast, who is a POS, has an online ordering system. They offered like 3 months free for
Yeah.
you to use it.
Yeah.
We started using that so that people could call in and then they could pick up curbside. So if they didn't want delivery, that was a great option.
Yeah.
And it's so inexpensive to do. It was a no-brainer.
Yeah. Toast, you said?
Toast. And that's what we're getting ready to switch over to, that POS.
Yeah.
We've just enjoyed working with them. They've
And you
got
found that
great
through COVID?
customer service.
Found it through COVID.
So, for me too, I found different things that helped. Maybe whether I pressed or forced, but then. So I think lessons learned. You have to be open-minded for people out there that are starting
And
business. you made changes that helped you succeed.
And that's also a lot of what's made a restaurant. If you're good in a restaurant, you were already doing that, because you know a customer's will change. There's multiple layers. It's that onion you're peeling, and you're finding how many peels of that onion can I get to come into my establishment. And so you're looking. So you're already kind of doing that.
Yeah.
But it was like put in hyperdrive during that time, because there's nothing disheartening as to stand in your dining room looking out. There's no one in your dining room, and you're thinking about, how am I going to pay these kids?
Yeah.
How am I going to
pay the electric bill?
Pay the electric bill. How do we, so you're forcing
How do you buy
yourself.
a new piece of equipment?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was something going to break, and what happens? You
And
have
then
that
how do you
emergency
get a
fund.
repair person even? Like if you can
Yeah.
afford it, how do you get the person here?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
so luckily I can repair a lot of stuff.
Would you say this has been your biggest challenge?
Oh, absolutely. In a heartbeat.
Would, like, buying it was a challenge? It's
Sure.
always a challenge.
Sure. But that was more of, that's in that highs of this whole thing. That was the culmination of 20 plus years of doing this. I knew that
You ought to be able to do it.
I should be able to do it.
Yeah, right. So your confidence was high. that you
I've
could
seen
make
it. I know it can be done.
You're not like opening a place that you never done in business, like you had no experience, and then you're hoping it would work. So you kind of knew that you would make it. You knew what they did before, so you had a little track record of what was happening.
Correct.
You could expand on it and make it
Correct.
better.
And so starting this, that's where the bank's going, sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's your worst point. What's your highest point? Was it opening it, or?
I think part of it was opening it, but I'm that guy that I like to coach and develop. And I've had some great kids before the COVID came through that really wanted this as a career. And so I got to take that 25 years and get them on a road. And you lose them.
Yeah.
But you're sending that child, I think the last one, young man, was Isaac. I helped him get himself to Glacier National Park with a company that ran the restaurants there. And he started as like a beverage manager and ended as the general manager and operating 2 locations. And so when you get those kids that do that, that's why I do this.
Yeah.
It's the fun part. I can cook, I can come up with great food, and we can have fun, but it's when you've done something that you can be proud of. So like now, I get kids, or I say kids, I'm old enough that they're all my kids, but these adults come in with children, and they worked for me. Yeah. And they recognize you, and then you get to see how they have grown. So it's nice that I had a vehicle that I could do that. Just one of the little side ventures in this that, makes it worth your time to get up. And
it's important. Yeah, I think that's, you passing on your knowledge, and also a way for them to make a living. And so it's not all about making money. And that's you do affect a lot of people in the restaurant business.
You sure do.
Because your customers and your help. You're going through help. You go through help a lot. None of them are going to stay forever.
No.
So
and you don't
hope
want them to. I mean, if somebody didn't have any drive to go any further and they just wanted to stay working behind the counter, I'd be concerned. I mean, I want them to move on, and they don't have to stay in the restaurant business. I mean, they can move on to something different, but maybe they learned a skill in dealing with customers that they can take.
They're going to learn
of their
something,
life.
whether it's good or bad, and I mean, they got to.
Of course, they all have to do is watch me do my mistakes and go, I'm not doing that.
You seem you to me, and just met you. You seem like a really great guy to work
thank you.
for. And
did you hear that?
Did you hear that?
That's on recording, right? That's recorded.
Well, I mean, you have a good attitude. Like you say, you're positive. Well, I think that's a lot of people aren't, and especially what's happened lately, you can become negative really easily each day if you listen to the news.
Absolutely, and I'm not going to lie, I've had my dark moments.
Yeah.
But you always have to think forward. What's the next thing?
That's what I'm trying to say. I think you've got that in you.
We're not both on that same page. Like we're not. I mean, when
one's
he's
negative,
like,
one's positive.
He's like, I'm going to lock the doors. I'm done. I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then a couple days later, I'm like, I'm locking the door. I'm walking out. That's it. And he's like, it'll be fine. It'll pass.
Just hope the day doesn't come when you both say we're locking the doors.
Right.
I might just disappear. Where'd John go? I don't know.
But really, for you two, it's unusual that a couple, in this business stays, In business.
in business,
Married. And happy.
Happy.
So if you've done that, then you know.
I mean, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, and that's serious. Not just saying that. That's serious. My wife worked with me at the cookie factory for a long time, and then we didn't have any problems. But she wanted to do something else. So
Right.
you know,
Right.
with her working time and her passion. So.
But I think that once I quit work and started staying at home with the kids, I got to see him more, got to be around him more.
Yeah.
And then once we started working together, I mean, we are with each other, probably 20 hours out of the day. I mean, yeah.
When y'all take a
I like
vacation,
him.
y'all go separate places.
No.
She tagged along.
Yeah. What's wrong with her?
I like him. I really do.
Yeah.
I tried to go on a deep sea fishing trip on a float plane,
Yeah.
but it didn't work out.
Yeah. All right. So what's the number one item here on the menu? What's your best-selling item?
I'm gonna
Hold
say
on.
it. Okay. Short story. Our daughter had been over in Europe. She came back and she's like, "Mom, they make avocado toast over here. It's so good. It's delicious. I've never seen anybody in the States do it. Now they make it." And I was like, "Hey, John, why don't you do avocado toast as a special?" No, I'm never gonna do it. You know.
Throwing stuff.
Yeah, he's like, no. He's coming up with specials every week, and finally he's like, I've been pestering him, and he's fine. He's like, fine, I'll do it for a week. It never came off the menu. I don't know how many years ago that was.
Yeah,
It's probably our
there's-
best-selling breakfast.
There's 3 items and it fluctuates. So I serve breakfast open and close. And so I have my
Every day
basic
that
every
you're
day.
open?
Every day.
Which is Wednesday through Sunday,
Sunday.
right?
Wednesday
right
through
now.
Sunday right now from 8 to 3, trying to get
Were you open different before COVID? Would you
I
open
was 7
up?
Yes,
days a
and
week,
we were-
7 in the morning. So I got everybody going before work. So I'd have 20 people in here drinking coffees and
Yeah.
getting their sandwiches and cutting out. Now,
And then we were open at dinner too.
So now
it's
breakfast,
just
Breakfast and lunch.
Lunch.
breakfast
No
and
dinner.
lunch, no dinner.
yeah.
Uh,
Was
but
dinner slower though? Anyway.
Dinner is
Yeah.
slower always
I
because
think it would be.
you know.
This type of operation.
I had limits in what I could do out of my kitchen. It's a very small kitchen, so
Yeah.
like I don't have a fryer, so I can't do the number one requested side, which is French fries.
French fries. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, I mean, I had some great other stuff,
Yeah.
and it's worked well, but you just never got that dinner side of it. So
Yeah.
when all of this came to play, it was like, you know, I started crunching the numbers from that time period, and with not knowing what was going on, we opted for trying to do 7 days a week from 7 to like 3.
Yeah.
But even then, we just couldn't make it happen. So that's the 5-day a week that we're
Yeah.
doing what we're doing now. But there's a breakfast item, the oh my, which is your basic egg side, whether it's hash browns or grits, and a protein. And that tends to be either number one, our knuckle sandwich, which got voted from Signature Magazine's Sandwich of the Year twice in a row.
Yeah.
But then this avocado toast, and I literally.
And now you're shrimp and grits.
So the knuckle sandwich, what's on it?
So I get all my bread pretty much made by Breadsmith here in town.
Breadsmith, yeah.
So it's a rosemary focaccia bread. I take garlic that I've roasted, and then I puree that. I make a roasted garlic aioli. The proteins are ham, turkey, pastrami, prosciutto, and pepperoni.
All on there?
All on there, all kind of diced up and mixed. I put Swiss cheese, cheddar cheese, and Monterey Jack cheese on it.
Gracious.
And it has an au jus dipping sauce. It is as big as a hubcap by the time I get done with this thing. It's almost kind of one of those things. If I can make it big enough, I would do that food TV channel, you know, eat this in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're looking at
Oh,
this
yeah,
mammoth
yeah.
thing come
Yeah.
out. But it just varies.
Yeah.
But that avocado toast, it's a light, it's an easy item, and so
So what's that run? How much is the avocado toast set me back?
it's not too bad.
I want to say it's 9. I'm not
9.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And this was from your daughter's idea.
my daughter's idea.
And she's in school now.
Yep.
Is that-
She's in grad school
Texas.
in Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she helped you.
She did.
So she paid her dues for
she
you.
sure did.
She did. She helped us out, and she majored in PR at Southern, so she helped us kind of with learning about marketing and
Social media.
Social
Yeah.
media was the key.
Yeah.
so she's
all
helped
during
us a lot.
all during that dark time.
Because us, our generation, I'm probably older than you guys, but that was different for us too.
Yeah, well, I still remember
It
picking.
started and we didn't know it started, so it was like a wave and we weren't on a wave. So.
I still came from
We
the
got hit with the
generation
wave.
that picks up that phone and had to go.
Oh, I had the rotary dial, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I was in the generation where it was only 3 numbers. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, at least in my town. And party lines. You could get on a party line.
I remember party
party
lines
lines.
when I was little. My grandmother had a party line.
Now they got them. Now it's called Facebook. So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
everybody knows
Yep.
what's going on with you, whether you want to or not.
Right.
So you got desserts. I know you mentioned something about
Yes.
somebody buying. Yeah.
We
chess.
tried. It's a chess square.
Chess square,
So we
yeah.
tried to make everything in house from scratch, and that's kind of where my
Your breads are made from Bread Smith, so that's from scratch.
Right.
And so desserts tend to be like the brownies, the chess squares, the peanut butter bars, and of course we have our big as your face cookie. And so
That's big.
It's big. It's big. Well, if you put
I
it
mean,
on my
it's
face,
literally like you can hold it up and
it covers your face.
It's
So-
as big as your face.
And that's what we try to do every day.
Yeah. What's the cookie made out of? Is it different every day, or is it the same?
I tend to mix them up. We have M&M cookies
Yeah.
and chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
If I get bold, I do a peanut butter cookie.
Yeah.
I'll do an oatmeal cookie with no raisins
Because we don't do raisins.
You don't like raisins?
I love raisins,
Yeah.
but
Not
not
in
an
a
oatmeal
not
cookie.
in an oatmeal
Yeah,
cookie.
I got
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
So-
it's a no-no, huh?
No.
That's a nay-nay.
Yeah. I like
Nay-nay.
dates too. You ever do anything with dates?
When I'm doing some of my catering events back
Yeah.
before all of this, when
Yeah.
I was doing the weddings, I would do all kinds of stuff. But
Yeah.
now, for us here, no.
Yeah. I like
Craisins, I do some of that with my salads.
your typical customer just done age-wise? Is,
We get a lot of business people
Yeah.
at lunch, but as you saw earlier, we get moms
You had a lot of
and
kids, yeah.
Mom and
coming in.
kids. To,
kids like it. You have kid menu?
We do. We have
Yeah.
a kids menu, and it's $5, and includes
That's
a
not
drink
bad,
and
yeah.
a side. Yeah.
And they haven't learned it yet, but I have a wall painted in chalkboard, and so it was like romper room with 6, 7 kids drawing on a wall
Yeah.
and all that. So little things that we could do to kind of give them something to entertain themselves with. Moms like to come in here and relax and meet with everybody. It's as we are so far west, there's nothing this way, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we would folks from Summerall and even as far as Columbia would come through.
Yeah. So we talked earlier when we were here waiting for the kids to leave. So
So it wouldn't be
Get the
so
kids
loud.
yeah. So a lot of times that's good ambiance, but you talked about you're helping people. What's your advice for people watching the show that are interested in the restaurant business or in the food business per se? Not just business, but in that specific field, like owning a restaurant, not just working in one, but owning
Right.
one. What's your advice, and what do they need to do? The number one thing they need to do to be successful on that venture.
Wow. There's so much that goes into doing this. I think that if you can't commit yourself with the passion to get up every day and do this, you might not be ready for this. It helps to know how to cook food. It helps to know, obviously, how to price out food, how to create a recipe, and how to train kids to do things. There's so much out there that you can utilize third party that will help you with this. But ultimately, it just comes down to what's beating in your chest, and you'll know it. That's the thing, you'll know it. And some kids get into it, they go for a little while, and that heart stops beating, and they move on.
Did you go to like hotel and restaurant?
Yeah, I was
school?
at Southern in the hotel restaurant program. And,
But a lot of people don't do that. They end up in it,
No.
So you don't have to do that to be.
no, you really don't. I think the biggest thing is just be young and get a job in a restaurant.
Yeah. Right.
And you get to see all the aspects to it. So it's a case of the best manager was a dishwasher and a busboy and a hostess, and they did all of that because they know
the
there's
whole
so
road.
many pieces of that chain to just open up for a lunch.
Yeah.
And then as a owner, You're seeing all the other things like, what are my commodity prices doing today? The truck is laid over here. I've got people doing this. So you're thinking 5, 10, 30 minutes ahead of time. And then you're also thinking, a day ahead, what 7 days look like? Where does this need to be 6 months from now? Because if you're not thinking that far, you're going to miss something.
Yeah.
And then even then, that's not a guarantee that you're going to catch everything, because obviously we didn't know COVID was coming.
No.
But because we were always thinking like that, we were
prepared.
That's what I was-
It made it a little easier.
We were ready to, I guess, to pivot when we needed to. We were,
Yeah.
I mean, we knew that
Yeah.
this is what's going to happen next. This is what we need, and looking at what our different options
Yeah.
were. And,
Yeah, I think that's the key, because a lot of people weren't ready to pivot. And it's nothing against anybody. It's the way it is.
Yeah, and-
you may be in a certain. We all were there wherever somebody is that didn't make it
Right.
at that particular time.
Right.
You caught the float. You were in a good spot, and it just happened. Because if you just opened, and you had borrowed a lot of money,
And then you
it would be
didn't have-
tough.
you didn't
Because
have
you had to do the
ability
business. If you
to-
had to do enough
Yeah.
each month to make the note, and then you'd be in bad shape. So I think that's kind of what happened to a lot of people. But so
But for me, I think somebody starting out, if they really want to do this, they don't need to be the jack of all trades. They need to, like, if they're the chef, or if they're great with people, or they're an accountant, they need to stay in their lane, and they need to find partners that can help them, so that you get a good, well-rounded, because you can't do it all.
yeah.
I mean, you can't.
You need an understanding of it all. That's
Yeah.
where
Yes.
you got to have tried everything, so you kind of know
What your strengths are.
what has to get done, or
Yeah.
what your strengths or your weaknesses are, and then
Well, your track is perfect because you did all those things. So
Right.
I think that for me, if I'm saying you need to go work for other people.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
in management, and
because you will
and learn and use their dime. And,
absolutely
and figure out.
and that's the key. That's the real world university.
Yeah.
If you wanted to be doing this.
Yeah, if you want to be a chef, you go to chef school and you go that
Right.
track. But if you
But
want to
then
be an
even
owner,
then, you don't even have to do that. There's the old school way before we had all those fancy schools, and that was just get started and
Well,
go.
yeah, you would go in and you would work for no pay under a chef to get trained, to
Yeah.
learn how to do something. And of course, if you said that to a kid today, they'd be like, "I'm not
Yeah.
doing that."
So that's where it goes to that
But,
kid.
stodging
You got to
was-
realize
that was where it was
this
at.
is a beast,
Yeah.
and you better be prepared. And if you're not, it's there. So there's not everybody that can do this.
yeah, I don't know about other businesses because I haven't really done many others but food. But I think that's the key is being flexible, but also having a passion for it.
Right.
Of course, I think, and that probably goes with any business.
Any business or anything that you're doing.
Probably.
I mean, have the passion, but you'll
But
know
you
if
need
you
that
have that
experience,
passion. But
too.
you need the experience.
And you can't really get it. You can't go out from school and go open, I think, and be successful.
Uh-uh.
I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
Where you
You'd
may be able
you'd
to
be
with
the
something.
luckiest man alive, or you were a bar. Here's your beer.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So-
So it's tough. Well, you guys, helping people like that, like you said, that's a great give back. Even in these times, you don't think about that a lot, but we still have to keep doing the right things. And
Yeah, you have to keep doing the right thing.
So what's your plans for the future? I know a lot of people had plans and then COVID stopped them. So do you have looking at doing other other locations? Or are you happy with the one and just making it the best it can be?
Well,
or-
I've always looked forward, and so I've looked at other locations here in town when things come in, and I might have been the second person that expressed interest, so I lose out, or it wasn't set for what I'm doing. But I'm in a process right now. I do have a property I'm looking at to see if it would handle another Southmouth. So well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's good.
I
Good
sit
to
here and
know.
as I go forward with that, I can't commit to anything yet because again we're still going to that elephant in the room of am I going to have
Yeah.
people to work, or
Right.
do
Yeah.
I make an investment and then here's another location, and then here's another location, and so.
Yeah, I think that's where everybody's at right now, and that's what's slowing.
So we're just kind of sitting, waiting and see.
Hopefully we can get to, hopefully here in the near future we can get to regular business and everything close to what it was before. Otherwise,
Or at least a nice definition of, if it's not going to be like it was before, then what is it going to be like now? And then we'll adapt to that and then move forward.
You have to have a little bit of certainty.
Sure.
In order to plan ahead and just to operate, not even to do anything new, but to keep moving and to keep you getting up in the morning, and saying, hey, I want to, go to work.
Well,
because it can get to the point where it's like,
do I say that? Do I want to go to work?
Not going to comment.
So retirement's coming soon? No.
No, I don't know what else I would do.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think I want to get to 65 and then stop, and then what?
Well, what are you going to do?
You may have a plan to do something else, but a lot of people in business that own it don't really want to get out, even if they have a lot of money.
I have an uncle who owns his own business. He's 97 years old. He still gets up and goes in every day.
There you go.
I mean, that's his purpose. That's what he wants to do.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think sometimes we get fed up, a line that you need to retire at 65 and you need to collect your retirement and go live in a little
Wherever.
Wherever. Florida. Which is nice. Florida's nice. But,
yes.
But so if it's a passion, then it's a passion.
Then it's a passion.
It's not I got to go do this. I don't want to.
Right.
And that's a joy in itself. Is coming to work each day and doing what you like and creating and helping well, look, I've enjoyed. I didn't know you guys really. I know we did the little deal before, but didn't really meet you. And I just want to say I'm impressed, and
thank you.
I wish you all the best, whether it's here or other places. Show us the T-shirt because we need to look at that. So this is like explain us the story behind.
I was telling them that we wanted to make a T-shirt with his mug on it. And he's a huge Jimi Hendrix fan, so I found this poster for a concert, and we had his face put into it and our sandwiches put all over it. I think this has probably been our best-selling shirt.
Yeah.
And we had some that we did hoodies, we had some with pockets, we had long sleeve. I mean, like, this one is sold.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to have to go and get some more made, but
if nothing else, you got your picture on a shirt.
That's right.
That's famous. So, I mean, you've made it. So you're
there. You go.
Exactly.
You're there. How much does a shirt cost?
It depends on which one you're getting. I think your basic one is probably around $12 or $13.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No. You get it with a pocket, it might be a little bit more, or you get the.
Have to buy them here, or you sell them online, or?
Right now we're only selling them here.
Yeah.
Now we do have some that are rainbow mustache shirts.
Yeah.
That a friend of mine in another business has sold for us during June, I guess the month of June. But we have, a good selection. We also have a T-shirt. I didn't show you that we're doing a can drive, and we're collecting cans for those that are hungry. We are donating those to Edward Street, right? And Ann just sent us over, like, we just donated, I don't remember how many pounds of cans, but we have a can shirt too that's got our soups written on the cans, and we're doing that to raise money for Edward Street.
So
we have it set up where if you came in with a couple cans of food, you get like a free drink, and then after so many times,
you get a free shirt.
I get you a free sandwich. I give you a knuckle sandwich.
Hey, you get a knuckle sandwich for a couple of cans of food.
So go buy you a couple cans and throw them in your trunk, and then when you come, pull two out and get your drink.
Bring them in. We'll give you a little punch card.
So you guys out there in the world, make this a destination point. These two guys are giving back, not only with the food they offer and the ambiance, but with the the canned food drive for Edward Street, which is a great local mission. And you get a good meal for a good price. What else can you ask for?
Absolutely.
And remember, that's the way the cookie crumbles.